So welcome to Unity of Palmyra. We thought we would start off Joy Sunday with a little Grinch and a little joy. So welcome. Together we are centered in love and we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. We are an open and affirming congregation. We love you exactly as you are, in all of your magnificent glory, and we're absolutely delighted that you've joined us here this morning on this fourth Sunday in Advent. Can you believe that? I know, right? Christmas Eve is Saturday. I'm not nervous about that at all. See? Not nervous about that at all. Ken always blames my electrons when things like that happen. He says, honey, back away from the electronic equipment. So I'm so happy that you guys are all here today. We are going to have a very joyous service as we do finish up our fourth Sunday in Advent, celebrating joy. So keeping that theme in mind, let's become centered. Let's breathe. Nice, big, deep breath. And as we exhale, we let go of anything that might get in the way of being fully, completely, deliciously, joyously present to the next hour. We let go of anything that was, any gift that's still not wrapped. We let go of anything that will be, and we give ourselves the ultimate gift of being here now. For now is where joy lives. Now is where hope and faith and peace and love live. When we can remember to stay present, we can live these powerful Advent themes every day of the year. And so, as always, we acknowledge that together or apart, we are always connected at the heart. So whether you are sitting in this room or you are enjoying this service through the ethers, we are so grateful that you're here. And as always, we enter into this experience with gratitude, as we say thank you for this time to come apart for a while. Thank you for whatever safe space you are in this morning, and most especially we say thank you for one another. And so it is. Amen. Let's sing, stand and sing. Joy to the world. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare Him room. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men the songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of His righteousness, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love, and wonders of His love. Yay, Christmas! All right, let's share together in our vision Centered in love, we embrace a positive path for spiritual living. And our mission, wherever we are and wherever we go, everywhere, we provide a welcoming community that inspires and encourages all who gather here through the teaching, sharing, and practice of universal spiritual principles. And one of the ways that we practice, though, having a little fun with the hugs and handshake slide. One of the ways that we practice those principles is to honor wherever you are in your journey. So if you need a hug, we will bring it on in. If you're more comfortable with the handshake, please just extend your hand and we will respect that. And if you want us to leave you completely alone, we totally understand, and we will honor whatever bubble you create around yourself. Just stay where you are and we will leave you alone. Have a great time.
Hey. Oh, huggies. I love huggies.
touch their harps of gold. Peace on the earth, goodwill to men, from heaven, gracious King. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing. Still through the cloven skies they come, with peaceful wings unfurled, and still their heavenly music floats o'er all the weary world. Above its sad and lowly plains they bend on hovering wind, and ever o'er its babble sounds the blessed angels sing. For lo, the days are hastening on, by prophet parts foretold, when with the ever-circling years comes round the age of gold, when peace shall over all the earth its ancient splendors fling, and the whole world send back the song which now the angels sing.
Oh, that was beautiful. Have a seat. Couple of announcements. Our parachaplains today are Sam Sherman and Charles Lee, and they are both in the sanctuary this morning. They'll be holding sacred space for us during the service, and then they'll be available over on this side of the sanctuary if anybody would like one-on-one prayer after the service. The sign-up for the dessert buffet is downstairs. These are desserts for Christmas Eve, so today's the last day to sign up. If you are bringing desserts for Christmas Eve, please have them here no later than 6:30. We have a crew of elves who are going to be putting out all of the desserts, and we want to make sure that they have plenty of time to do that before the service starts at 7 o'clock, which is the next announcement. Our Christmas Eve service is at 7 o'clock on Christmas Eve. It is in person only. Just a reminder, that service is not being streamed for multiple reasons. And we all voted to sleep in on Christmas morning, although those of you with young children will not be doing that anyway. So, or with multiple cats who want to get fed no matter what day it is. And the last day of the bazaar is today. We did have several folks from the Caring Cupboard come in last week and take some decorations and some gifts. We had one woman come in who had kind of gotten stranded here. Long story. She was an international student and then got kind of stranded. Didn't have any of her Christmas stuff, and so we packed 2 boxes full of decorations and gifts, and it turns out her mom is a knitter. So Vicki, she took a ton of yarn from the yarn box, so it was a very successful week. So it's all going away after the service today. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Anyway, so take whatever you want, and then we're going to pack it up for next year or for the yard sale, whichever comes first. The other sign-up that's going on downstairs is for Gwen's class, The Many Faces of Prayer. That starts the beginning of January, and it's going to be Sunday evenings via Zoom. We are embracing Zoom during the winter months. We've decided moving forward because it's dark and it's cold, and we just, as we learned at the Bills game last night, can't count on the weather. But they pulled it out in the end, didn't they, Jer? Okay. Yeah, barely. All right, so Miss Elaine, would you read the daily word, please?
Maybe. And I'll read it, but the microphone's not coming on.
They can't hear her online, though. We need the microphone. Do you need help?
I mean, I'm pressing the button. I don't know how much harder I can press it. And I have a big mouth. See, she's having trouble too now. I don't feel
Here you go.
bad. Thank you. Good morning. Today's word is joy. Joyfully, I celebrate my oneness with God. As the 3 wise men followed the star to Bethlehem to greet the newborn child, I follow my inner light and discover the Christ within. As I approach the conclusion of Advent season, I realize that this, rather than material goods or creature comforts, is the source of my joy. The Christ within is the part of me that is always one with God. Omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence. When I face challenging times, I can draw from that inner wellspring of joy, my foundation of irrepressible strength and fortitude. I have within me the power to overcome any challenge. This day, this moment, I am joy-filled, and I celebrate the overflowing blessings of my divinity. And from Matthew 2:10, when they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy.
Home, my family is here. I feel loved by the ones I hold so dear. And when my family needs me, I promise to be there. And when I need my family, lifted up in prayer.
Where we consciously enter into an attitude of prayer, of an alignment of our human and our divine aspects. And so I invite you to take a breath. To feel that breath moving through you, moving through every cell, every fiber, every muscle, every nerve, infusing us with the hope and the faith, the peace, the love, and the joy available to us this season. Today we focus on joy. And as we heard in today's daily word, and as we'll hear more shortly, joy often is a choice. And so today we invite anyone who struggles with that choice to allow the joy of others to surround you, to embrace you, to enfold you, to infuse you with their delight, with their glee, with their enthusiasm. As we remember that the literal meaning of that word is to be filled with God, to be enthusiastic, to be joyful, to take delight in expressing the spirit that we are. This is the choice for joy. And for those of us who feel joyful this time of year, I invite you to share it gently, freely, joyously with those who may be struggling. To spread it with a smile to the cashier, or a have a great day and happy holidays to everyone that you meet. To end every conversation with love. And as the old saying goes, to wish glad tidings upon everyone we meet. And so today we embrace joy. And we allow it to embrace us. For we know that when one of us can choose joy, all of us can, recognizing the sacred connection that we all share. What a powerful and wonderful demonstration of our oneness. And so it is. Namaste.
The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds the God in you. Namaste. You are beautiful. You are whole. You are beautiful. You are whole.
Christmas, why can't I find you? Why have you gone away? Where is the laughter you used to bring me? Why can't I hear music play? My world is changing, I'm rearranging. Does that mean Christmas is changing too? Where are you, Christmas? Do you remember the one you used to know? I'm not the same one. Oh, see what the time has done. Is that why you've let me go? Oh, Christmas is here everywhere. Oh, Christmas is here if you care. If you have love in your heart and your mind, you will feel like Christmas all the time. I feel you, Christmas. I know I found you. You never fade away. Oh, the joy of Christmas stays here inside us, fills each and every heart with love. There you are, Christmas. Fill your heart with love.
Well, that was gorgeous. Thank you. So, this is our final Sunday in Advent. This is Joy Day. So today we're going to celebrate Scrooge's transformation and his embrace of joy. It's also your annual reading of Khalil Gibran's On Joy and Sorrow from the Prophet, because we can't talk about joy without recognizing the other side of the scales. So this is from the Prophet. Then a woman said, "Speak to us of joy and sorrow." And he answered, "Your joy is your sorrow unmasked, and the self-same well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. And how else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is not the cup that holds your wine the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven? And is not the lute that soothes your spirit the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see in truth that you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come. And when one sits with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. Verily, you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and your joy. I think sometimes when we're feeling sad or sorrowful, the tendency is to believe that that sadness will never end. And so this writing has brought great comfort to me through the years, knowing that eventually joy will return, and that joy cannot be far behind the sorrow if I choose to see it. And there's the word for today, choice. For many of us, joy needs to be a conscious choice. Thich Nhat Hanh speaks to this when he says, sometimes your joy is the source of your smile, but sometimes your smile can be the source of your joy. We call that a psychomotor response, just to give you the psychological background for it. So sometimes joy does spontaneously bubble forth, like when we all sing Joy to the World together, and it's beautiful. Sometimes we need to smile first. We need to initiate that emotional response of joy. So I love Gretchen Rubin. I've been studying her work for years. I did a whole year on the Happiness Project at one point when it came out about 10 years ago. And she has an interesting resolution. She creates resolutions for herself. And it really got me when I first read about it, because the resolution is to protect our joyous ones. So she wrote a little piece on it that I wanted. This is just excerpts from it. She says, for my children's literature reading group, that's one of the reasons I love Gretchen, because she loves, like me, children's literature. She said, I just reread The Diary of Anne Frank. It got me thinking about many things, most of them way too huge to fit into a blog post. But I was very struck by one particular point, one small happiness-related aspect of their experience, how the 8 people in hiding were so affected by each other's moods. This isn't surprising, but the diary powerfully captures this emotional contagion phenomenon. Despite some difficulties, Anne mostly comes across as a cheery, energetic person with a ready sense of humor, and it seems that the others drew on that cheerful energy even while they often criticized and nagged her. I was reminded of a resolution I've written about before, the resolution to shield my joyous ones. This comes from a prayer attributed to St. Augustine of Hippo, including the line, shield your joyous ones. And this is the prayer. Tend your sick ones, O Lord Jesus Christ. Rest your weary ones. Bless your dying ones. Soothe your suffering ones. Pity your afflicted ones. Shield your joyous ones. And all for your love's sake. So at first it struck me as odd that among the prayers for the dying and the suffering is a prayer for the joyous. Why should we worry about the joyous ones? But once I started to reflect about my joyous ones, I began to appreciate the people I know who are joyous. As part of my happiness project, I try to keep resolutions. And trying to keep those resolutions has made me understand much better how much effort it takes to be consistently good-tempered and positive. And if that kind of behavior makes a difference under the conditions of ordinary life, and is challenging to maintain in ordinary life, it's hard to imagine both how difficult it would be and how elevating it would be to behave that way in the extreme fear and privation of the secret annex. We non-joyous types suck energy and cheer from the joyous ones. We rely on them to buoy us with their good spirit and to cushion our agitation and anxiety. But at the same time, because of a dark element in human nature, we're sometimes provoked to try to shake the joyous ones out of their fog of illusion. Instead of shielding their joy, we blast it. For example, it's easy to make fun of joyous ones' enthusiasms. Why is this? I have no idea. But that impulse is there. In his outstanding biography, Samuel Johnson, W. Jackson Bate describes how upset the temperamental Samuel Johnson became when his joyous, enthusiastic supporter, Hester Thrale, turned her attention away from him. He says, "It is a common mistake on the part of cooler, self-contained natures to assume that those who have a giving and ebullient character," don't you love that word, ebullient, "are what they are only because they cannot help it, that they are fed from a spring that will never stop, rather than a reservoir that can be exhausted. Hence the feeling of stark disbelief or unpleasant shock on the part of others when the reservoir of effort and energy, for it turns out to be a reservoir, is almost gone. The principal reward for those who give lavishly rather than meagerly is the expectation that they remain true to form and continue to give. So we depend on the joyous ones, and we need to remember that their joy isn't inexhaustible or unconquerable. Now I'm making a real effort to use my own good cheer to support and protect the enthusiasts I know. Shield your joyous ones." So Gretchen, after she published The Happiness Project over 10 years ago at this point, continued to explore happiness. She reminds me a little bit of Brene Brown, except Brene's a social worker and Gretchen's a lawyer, but they both have a zeal for research. So Gretchen has continued to research happiness, and she now interviews other authors and other people who have done research on joy and happiness. And so in an interview that she did with a writer called Sarah McCall, she wrote a memoir called Joy Enough, and she talked about her experience of simultaneously going through a divorce and supporting her mother through what turned out to be a fatal experience with cancer. So Gretchen said, "I couldn't wait to talk to her about how she maintained her joy level and wrote a book called Joy Enough." So Gretchen says, "You've done some fascinating research. What has surprised or intrigued you the most?" And I thought this was very interesting. Sarah says, "A life of contentment and joy does not mean avoiding experiences with loss and pain." So we're not talking about toxic positivity here, right? We're not talking about ignoring, that we live in physical reality. We are talking about making a choice. So Sarah says, experiences with death, in fact, can heighten our awareness of and gratitude for living. In her book, The How of Happiness, Sonia Lyubomirsky, I am so sorry, Sonia, reports on a study in which 70 to 80% of people who had lost someone they loved reported finding a benefit to the experience. I don't think we want a happy life so much as a meaningful one. And the meaning comes from the experience of feeling fully alive. And then she quotes Joseph Campbell. She says, he sums this up pretty well. People say that what we're all seeking is a meaning for life. I don't think that's what we're really seeking. I think what we're seeking is an experience of being alive. Is anyone else here Bernadette Peters in their mind right now? Or is that just me? Sorry, I digress. So that our life experiences on the purely physical plane will have resonances with our own innermost being and reality, so that we actually feel the rapture of being alive. She said, I think death, loss, grief, and pain bring us in touch with the rapture of being alive as much as ecstatic happiness and joy. Or as G.K. Chesterton once observed, he said, "It's easy to be heavy, it's really hard to be light." It always reminds me of what Ken says, dying is easy, humor is hard, from the acting perspective. So what Gibran is teaching us, and what I think everyone that I'm focusing on this morning is teaching us, is that joy will return and we can help it along. We can choose to focus on those things that bring us joy. We can make the choice for joy. We can keep moving along that scale of joy and sorrow and weight it for joy. Pema Chodron says, joy has to do with seeing how big, how completely unobstructed, and how precious things are. So, back to New Thought 101. What are we most focused on? On what's not working in our lives or what is? So when we make a choice for joy, we're focusing on what we have to be grateful for. We're focusing on what is most precious to us. Brené Brown describes this as being willing to be vulnerable. She says, joy is vulnerable. She makes an interesting observation because she says, the vulnerability inherent in joy is why we're afraid to let ourselves feel it. She said, don't squander your joyful moments waiting for the other shoe to drop. Embrace your joyful moments. So that brings us to Scrooge. So Scrooge had his share of joy and sorrow. We saw his sadness reflected in his unhappy childhood, and this was through the eyes of the ghost of Christmas past. And yet we also saw that he had experienced some joy, and we saw that through the visit from the ghost of Christmas present. We saw him enjoying the generosity of the Fezziwigs. We saw him enjoying his relationship with Belle. We saw him enjoying being good at what he was doing in his chosen profession. And yet, despite that, at some point, Scrooge chose to close his mind and harden his heart against any experience of happiness. He became obsessed with accumulating more and more and more money, never having enough, never allowing himself to enjoy the benefit of what he had earned. And I think that that's an interesting observation, because one of the biggest joy suckers out there, it is never feeling like we have enough or that we are enough. Right? Well, Scrooge could never, ever have enough. He lived in fear and misery. If it wasn't for the intervention of his friend Marley and what I'm starting to call the three spirits of time, doesn't that sound cool? Right? Almost sounds like it should be a Doctor Who Christmas episode. Although they've already kind of beat that dead horse. If it hadn't been for their support, he would have continued down that path. He never would have made that shift to joy and to gratitude. But what's most impressive, I think, about Scrooge's transformation is it was a choice. He could have made a different one. It would have been a very different story, right? He could have hardened his already hard heart even more. He could have clamped down on his already closed mind. He could have refused and rejected the lessons and the gifts that the spirits brought him. But he didn't. He allowed himself to be transformed. He allowed himself to remember his joy and the joy of giving. He allowed himself to be vulnerable. On Christmas Eve, you'll hear the impressive transition of him fighting Marley and the first ghost to, by the time he gets to the third ghost, he's saying, "Bring it on. I am ready. I want to change." So the other thing that was interesting about his transformation was he allowed himself, probably for the first time in many decades, to feel. He felt the grief of his childhood. The Ghost of Christmas Past comments on the tear streaming down his face. He felt regret over how he had treated Belle and Fred and Bob. And he allowed himself to feel the fear or even the terror of what might lay ahead if he did not change his life. He allowed himself to feel everything that he saw. And it opened his mind, and it softened his heart, and it let the joy and the love and the laughter in. So I called this talk The Laughter of Scrooge, mainly in reference to that wonderful scene in his bedroom, it's that one, where he wakes up and he realizes, oh my gosh, I'm still alive, right? And he tugs on the bed curtains and he pulls off his little jammies. They haven't been ripped off of his cold, dead body, right? And he is so excited. He's just like a child. He's doing a jig. He's dancing. And he starts to laugh. My favorite version, and this will come as no surprise to you, of that particular scene is the one with Patrick Stewart. And not just because he's Jean-Luc Picard. There's a legitimate reason why I think he does the best job with that scene. And it's because in the way that Sir Patrick interprets it, his first attempt at laughter fails. He can't laugh. Like, he hasn't laughed for so long, his vocal cords do not know how to laugh. And he does this amazing thing with his voice where you actually, like, I picture cobwebs and dust bunnies in his throat. Seriously, it's like this, I don't even know how he made that sound. He is a highly trained professional. But it took him a couple of attempts to actually laugh. It had been so long. And yet, once he did, he let out this full-throated, hearty roar of laughter, and his transformation was complete. So I think our biggest lessons from Scrooge and his transformation, and from everyone we've heard from this morning, is to allow joy in. It's okay. You only have to feel it for a few moments. I promise it won't hurt you, right? And to make a choice for joy, right? And to protect the joyous ones, because, oh gosh, do we ever need them in our world today? So like Scrooge, I embrace us to make the choice for transformation and for joy. Let's take that into meditation.
Dream as children do on Christmas Eve, imaginings, surprising things to hold and to believe. Dream a time, this Christmas time, when no one's hungry or afraid, that weapons go and harvests grow, that friends are met and made. Dream of peace, our planet's peace, the greening of the earth at play, the holy ground where life is found, where God has touched the clay. Dream a gift, the Christmas gift, that changes everything we see. The shimmering of angel wing, the child, the mystery. The shimmering of angel wing, the child, the mystery.
Let's breathe in the beauty of that message. Dreaming dreams of peace and love and joy, and embracing the all-encompassing mystery of life that offers us so many chances to make those choices. Every day we get to decide, will we be Scrooge before the spirits or after? Will we go through our lives avoiding joy, afraid to be vulnerable? Or will we skip down the path of our life looking for opportunities to be joyous and to share that joy? Does this mean that we don't care about what's going on in the world or want to make it better? No. What it means is that we approach those challenges with an open heart and an open mind. And that joyous energy of anticipation and expectation that things can and will be better. We commit to not adding to the energy of despair and fear, but dispelling that with hope and faith and peace, with love and with joy. So I invite you to very gently bring to mind a challenge. Let's make it a small one. Just something that's not sitting quite right with you. We bring that into this consciousness, this energy of choosing joy. And just as Scrooge was transformed by being open to the gifts of the spirits, I invite you to transform whatever situation came to mind by infusing it with joy. By choosing to dream a dream of joy.
Dream a dream, the Christmas gift that changes everything we see. The shimmering of angel wing, the child, the mystery, the shimmering of angel wing, the child, the mystery. Donna nobis pacem, pacem. Donna nobis pacem.
Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you. Oh, so this is the time of our service where we acknowledge your incredible generosity, your support of this community, and the energy and the contributions we make beyond these walls and the difference that we make in so many lives. Thank you for your support of our work. We are incredibly grateful. And now I think we're going to have a little fun.
And I think you'll see where we need it.
I love to laugh loud and long and clear. I love to laugh. It's getting worse every year. The more I laugh, more I fill with glee, and the more the glee, the more I'm a merrier me. It's embarrassing. The more I'm a merrier me.
Some people laugh through their noses, sounding something like this. Dreadful. Some people laugh through their teeth, goodness sake, hissing and fizzing like snakes. Not at all attractive to my way of thinking. Some laugh
Too fast. Some only blast. Others they twitter like birds. Then there's the kind what can't make up their mind. When things strike me as funny, can't hide it inside, and squeak as the squeakerless do.
I've got to
Let go with a ho, 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 and a ha, 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 too. We love to laugh loud and long and clear. We love to laugh so everybody can hear. The more you laugh, the more you fill with glee, and the more the glee, the more we're a merrier we. More we're a merrier we.
You know, we thought about ending today's service with some like big dramatic Christmas song, and then we thought, yeah, no, we're going to laugh. We're going to laugh our way into this week. I see you all having an amazing, joyous week, and we just can't wait to see you on Christmas Eve. So, are the kids coming up? Are the kids? Okay. So, let's just, talk amongst ourselves as we... We can sing. Yeah, you want to sing?
This
Little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Oh, cool. What did you guys do today?
Our teacher read a book about how Jesus was born and where he was born and what Christmas was about. And we did a craft, and this is what it is. And it says, share God's love and love one another.
Awesome. Does anybody else want to share anything? Yes?
Made a floating Nerf Master's blaster so you can unfold it to shoot people.
Oh.
Okay.
It's
Not about shooting, put it down.
It's not about shooting, put it down. So, all right, may we bless you, please? Would you guys like to stand up so we can bless you? Oh, no, stand up here. All right, you ready? Good job, Gemma. She knows the drill here. All right, hands up together. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in each and every one of you. Yes, we do. Let's sing the peace song. Luckily, it's only Nerf.
I made this for you.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And wherever God is, all is well. Go forth after fellowship. Enjoy and have a wonderful, wonderful week. We love you so much. Bye-bye, Facebook and YouTube fans.